Thank you, Mr. President. I rise to, I think, obviously echo the comments made by my colleagues. I want to thank Majority Leader Cousins for her comments, certainly the sponsor for bringing this resolution today. West Point is a unique place because of course, it really belongs to all of us. Every American who pledges allegiance to that flag. The Academy at West Point produces not just soldiers, not just veterans, it produces the future leaders of America. It produces the future leaders of the United States Army. Specifically, yes, it was the vision of our first president, George Washington, who not only saw the need for a professional military academy, but obviously saw the strategic vantage point, the strategic benefit of West Point. But of course, it was founded and ultimately brought into reality by our third president, Thomas Jefferson. And it was brought into being to create the leadership, a professional leadership of the United States Army specifically, and in some ways, by extension, the United States military. And I think it's great and very humbling for us to have you here today. But I think it's important that you're here because there's an important role between the military and the elected government in a republic, in the United States of America. We have a civilian-led military. In spite of all the experience, certainly, of our Joint Chiefs of Staff, generals in the Army, generals in other branches, in spite of that, it is a civilian-led military. Our Commander-in-Chief is the President of the United States, and ultimately, decisions regarding war, funding, where we're going to put investment in future weapon systems, where you may find yourselves. Those are all decisions that are ultimately made by people that sit in chairs like us. And so it is humbling to know that this generation continues to produce Americans who willingly serve. You're born into, or you live in, the wealthiest country in the world, where there are options in front of all of you, certainly. You could be what you want to be. You can do what you want to do. And yet, you're choosing to serve this country. You're choosing to potentially, some of you, put yourselves directly in harm's way. And for that, we commend you. I am always in awe of young Americans. Combat is a young person's endeavor. I don't want to say young person's game, because it's certainly not a game, but it is a young person's exercise. Having been there in combat at the ripe old age of 29, I can tell you I was an old man in a lot of ways over in Afghanistan. It is a young person's endeavor, and to have young people like yourselves who already know, who already understand, who believe that there is something bigger than all of you, who believe that you have all these freedoms and these opportunities because other people came before you and sacrificed and fought to make them so, and those need to be protected and safeguarded into the future. Every generation needs to do its part to defend liberty. Every generation needs to do its part to defend our way of life, our values, and our interests, be they here at home or abroad. And so I commend you for that. But I would also say, you're all leaders. You're all aspiring leaders. I'll put it that way. You're leaders in training right now. You're getting a crash course in leadership. I will tell you that you will find out as you go off into the world, maybe not always in the military, but certainly in the civilian world, leadership is a lost art. There's not enough people who actually know how to lead. Everybody wants to lead, or at least a lot of people want to lead, but how to lead. And of course, to lead, you need to be able to first to serve. And that's what you're doing. And that's what you're being trained to lead under fire. to lead when things are not going well. But you also deserve leaders. You deserve leaders on the elected side, be they in Washington, D.C. or at the state houses, who understand what you're doing and who make decisions in the best interest of each and every one of you. Leaders who do not waste your talents, who do not waste your service, who do not waste your sacrifice. Leaders who understand the impact of our decisions upon all of you and your families. You deserve that from us. You deserve leaders who get that, who get our part in that arrangement that we have, that I talked about, the civilian-military arrangement in this country that is unique. It is unique in America, and it is important that we continue to protect it. But you need leaders on both sides of that equation who have the same goals and have the same understanding both of history and where the world is going. And I hope that we continue to have those leaders on the civilian side as well as the military side. At this time, I want to ask Jake Wesley, on your feet. So I do not have a constituent here today who is a cadet. In fact, I've been here for 10 years, and I've never, from the 62nd District, in spite of all the best parts of it, we've never had a cadet from West Point here on West Point Day. However, as was mentioned, Senator Mark Walczyk from the North Country, Senator Walczyk is currently deployed. He is a member of the New York Army National Guard, and he is deployed at this time, and as a result, he is not with his wife and his children, and he is not here doing the business that he was elected to do, because his service not only extends to this room, but it extends to the military, to the New York Army National Guard. However, Jake Wesley is his constituent, and he is here. I want to read a little bit about Jake. Jake is, his intended branch is Signal. He is in Delta One Company. His history is, his major is military history, and he belongs to the hunting club and to company athletics. In fact, he already has an associate's degree, and he would like to return possibly to the U.S. Military Academy at West Point to teach military history in the future. Jake, it is great to have you with us, along with the rest of your cadets. I only wish Senator Walczyk was here to recognize you, but I am honored to be able to recognize you on behalf of him. And I thank you for your willingness to serve. I thank all of my colleagues for supporting this resolution. Jake, you can sit down now, I'm sorry. Mr. President, I want to thank all my colleagues for supporting this resolution. I want to thank the cadets who are here for your willingness to serve this country, for your willingness to be leaders for this country, not only in the U.S. Army, but we're going to ask you to be leaders for the rest of your lives in whatever endeavor you choose. And I look forward to the fact that this generation is producing such fine young men and women who are here with us today. Mr. President, thank you for your indulgence.